we have our rails laid out. So basically, these two guys are for your brake rods. That's an axle hole, that's an axle hole from here over. This 10 inches from here to here, that's your rail, and then you have your two spreaders here. This is laid out really well. This is all scribbled out. That's waste. This is all waste. This is all waste over here. I'm just going to go a little bit darker here. I don't want to make any mistakes, cut any wrong lines. When you cut your lines on a power miter box or any other saw, you're going to get the blade has width. So you always want to cut on the waste side of the line. So I'm putting little X's there, cutting on the waste side of the line. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm cutting on the waste side of the line because the blade has thickness. I'm quickly just going to tape my rails together inside on the good area, part that I'm keeping, just for the reason after I cut them, I don't want them to fall apart. Okay, you know what? I'll even tape my spreaders together. There's my spreaders. Just going to tape those together. And we're good to go. Let's go down to the power miter box. When I cut on a power miter box, I always like to keep the big pieces in my hand. So if you look in this direction, I'm going to hold the rail in my hand because this is my biggest piece. So I'm going to cut the waste, then I'm going to get my spreaders, then I'm going to cut the waste, and then I can flip it, and I'll still have a big piece in my hand. And I'm going to cut the waste off there, and I'm done. So here we go. Basically, the power miter box, there's a couple things that are really important. One, okay, this is a blade guard. It covers the teeth. I can promise you this, the blade guard will not always work. It'll work 98% of the time. So do not assume that this automatic blade guard is going to cover the teeth. Sometimes little pieces of wood get caught in there, and then the blade's exposed, and you can cut yourself, and this will be serious. Like, this isn't a little cut, this will cut your fingers off. So don't assume that the blade guard is always going to work. You can listen to this saw, 1001, 1002, that takes about 3 seconds for the blade to stop. It has a brake on it. I can guarantee you that the brake isn't going to work 100% of the time. So don't assume that the brake is going to work. It is there for your safety, but sometimes these things fail occasionally. So without putting my hand on the black trigger, without putting my fingers on there, I'm just going to hold out here. I'm going to line it up. And that's where I want to cut, on the right-hand side of that line. Once I line it up and I'm happy with what I see, once the blade's completely stopped, we can get rid of that waste. Now I'm going to line up. Now I'm lining up my spreaders. I'm cutting my spreaders to length. As long as you are holding the workpiece against the fence, you're good. I don't like my fingers too close to the blade. Why? Because I'm sane, okay? I know it'll cut me. I like to keep my fingers away from the blade. Keep my fingers over here in this area. Wait till it gets to full speed and then go. Never turn on the machine while it's engaged to the workpiece. Ideally, your line is still there and there's no white space. That's the ideal situation. You cut away half of your line. With this power miter box, more accurate than the radial arm saw, it's going to do a really nice job cutting your pieces. That guy's trash. Those are my spreaders. I'm going to cut the waste off of my front end of my rail. I'm going to line it up. It's really kind of loud and scary. That's the type of piece that would get lodged inside the blade. Something like that could get caught inside there and the guard won't work. Now I'm just going to flip this guy. Whoop, and I'm going to cut off this end, and I still have this large rail in my hand. I'm never going to come up here holding on to this little tiny piece. Like, it's just a little common sense. I don't like my fingers this close to the blade. Right, put the big piece in your hand. Hold it up against the fence. Most of you are right-handed. If you're not right-handed, you are today while you're using this saw. Now what I have, got my rails, got my spreaders. I'm ready to glue them together in about 3 seconds. We'll go head up there.